Hi and welcome back to the JavaScript Beginners tutorial series. In this tutorial we're going to use HTML events to run some JavaScript code and we're going to do that with the use of buttons. So I've got my template set up here and I don't need to enter anything in between these two script tags. I'm going to work in between the body tags here. So the body of the page. Okay, and the first thing I'm going to do to set up the buttons will be to create a form. So I'll use the form tag, and then I'll add in some buttons. So the first button I'm going to add will allow the user to click on it, and when the user clicks on the button, it will bring up a little alert message saying you clicked here or something like that. So first thing to do, I need to set the input type, which is a button. So go input type equals button, and then the value, or what is displayed on this button, the text that's on the button, should say something like click here. Okay, then we can use a HTML event to tell the browser to do something when the button is clicked. And there are some common HTML events like onClick, so when the user clicks a button, on mouse over, when they just hover their mouse cursor over the button, on mouse out, so whenever the mouse leaves the button, and other ones like on key down when a key is pressed, or on load when the web page is finished loading. So first one I'm going to do is on click. So I shall choose on click equals, and this is where we specify what we want to actually happen when the user clicks on the button. So we could add in a function that we've defined earlier up here in our script section. We could make a new function, and then we could run the function when the user clicks, and we'll look at that a little bit later. In the next tutorial we'll be looking at making functions, but right now I'm going to just add a little alert message, which can be a little bit annoying, but sometimes they have a purpose. So we'll type in quotation marks, alert, and then brackets, single quotation mark, and then we want to display a little message after the user has clicked on the button. So something like you clicked the button. Okay, close that single quotation mark and bracket, semicolon, and then forward slash and angle parentheses, just to close that input line here. So we've got the input type as a button. The button will say click here, and when the user clicks on the button, it will display a little alert message saying you clicked the button. Okay, and we can go down and close off that form. But we just need to make sure we've started here with double quotation marks. We need to also end that over here. So I've left that out. Okay, let's fix that up. Save that and run in Chrome. Okay, so we've got a little button here. When we click on it, it will bring up this alert, you click the button. Okay. Alright, so let's go back. This time we're going to add another button. So we're going to input type equals button, same as before, but the value this time will be something like hover here. Okay, so it's asking the user to hover their mouse cursor over the button. And instead of using on click, we'll use on mouse over. So when the user has moved their mouse cursor over this button, it will bring up an alert. Oops. On mouse over equals alert, you hovered over the button. Okay. Alright, we'll save that and go back to our page and refresh. And now we've got an extra button here, so we click on the one here that says click here and it brings up an alert. we hover over the one here. So as soon as the mouse goes on top of that button, it'll bring up this alert saying you hovered over the button. So that happens whenever you hover over the button. Now, Chrome is nice that it will ask you to, if you want to prevent this page from creating additional dialogues, which is quite good if you had a web page that just had multiple annoying dialogues. You could tick that box and you won't see any more dialog boxes coming up. That's something that's good in Chrome. A lot of older browsers don't have that feature. Okay, let's go down and we'll add another button this time, and we'll use the on mouse out. So input type equals, it's another button, value equals, what could we say this time? Hover off, hover away. Okay, so when the user with this one, hover here, when the user moves their mouse over it, as soon as the mouse is over it, it will bring up the message. But with this example, the user will move their mouse to the button. It won't bring up a message until they actually move their mouse off the button. So we can go on mouse out equals alert, you left me. Okay. Save that, and we'll go back to Chrome and refresh. Oops. Avoid that hover button. Okay, so let's check this one in the middle here, the one that we've got that says hover here. As soon as the mouse goes over it, it'll bring up that message. But with the hover away, we can bring the mouse cursor over that button, and it won't do anything until we take the mouse cursor off the button. And then it brings up this message saying, you left me. Okay? So if we go back to our code and have a look, we've got a form here. We've got 3 different buttons. One allows the user to click it and bring up a message. One allows the user to hover over it and brings up a message. And the other one allows the user to hover away from the button and it will bring up a message. Okay? And those are all using these HTML events. So on click, on mouse over, and on mouse out. There's several other HTML events that you can use to run JavaScript code, and you can also use useful functions instead of alert messages. So you might have the user click a button and it could make a calculation, or it could load something else on the page, or maybe change an image, something like that. Okay, so those are some HTML events. And in the next tutorial, we'll be looking at functions. Thanks for watching.